North Carolina against Indiana. Now for the introduction of the starting lineup, our public address announcer, Marvin Mann.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Georgia Tech welcomes you to the Omni for tonight's NCAA East Regional semifinal game between the Hoosiers of Indiana University and the Tar Heels of the University of North Carolina. Now let's meet the starting lineups. For Indiana University, at forward, a 6'8 sophomore from Newark, Ohio, number 41, Mike Giommi. For North Carolina, at forward, a 6'8 senior from East Meadow, New York, number 44, Matt Daugherty. For Indiana University, at forward, a 6'5 freshman from Lawrenceville, Illinois, number 50, Marty Simmons. For North Carolina, at forward, a 6'10 senior from Latham, New York, number 41, Sam Perkins. For Indiana University, at center, a 7'2 junior from Munich, Germany, number 33, Uwe Block. For North Carolina, at center, a 6'11 sophomore from Black Mountain, North Carolina, number 42, Brad Daugherty. For Indiana University, at guard, a 6'2 freshman from Newcastle, Indiana, number 12, Steve Alford. For North Carolina, at guard, a 6'2 freshman from Queens, New York, number 30, Kenny Smith. For Indiana University, at guard, a 6'5 junior from Maryville, Indiana, number 11, Dan Dockich. For North Carolina, at guard, a 6'5 junior from Wilmington, North Carolina, number 23, Michael Jordan. And introducing the head coaches for Indiana University in his 19th season, Bobby Knight. For the University of North Carolina in his 23rd season, Dean Smith.
The officials for this game from the Pac-10 will be Booker Turner in the middle, Ron Spittler from the Big 8 on the right, and Mike Tanko from the Southwest Conference on the left. North Carolina, Indiana, the winner to meet Virginia for the East Regional Championship. Top-ranked North Carolina against Indiana, Sam Perkins. North Carolina the last 4 years, look at that, 117 wins, and Sam's been in all but 2 of them.
That's the most wins any player participated in since 1952. Goes all the way back to Kentucky days.
And Mike Giommi, he could be a key to this game.
He's been in the doghouse some, Gary, but Indiana has to have a big game out of him from the baseline.
Did you notice? The entire tournament, there will be no shot clock. Kenny Smith out of Queens, New York, the freshman. You can see how heavily that left wrist is taped.
Obviously man-to-man from Indiana, and it's Giommi on Perkins. Passing game for North Carolina. Both of these teams use it.
Michael Jordan, and he starts Carolina off 2-0. Jordan, since ACC tournament time, has been averaging 22 points a game.
Gary, early in the year, he was only down in the 15 and 16 points, but he wasn't looking for his shot early.
Alford, who must shoot well from outside for Indiana to have a chance. 3 games they lost this year. The Big Ten was less than 50% from the field. And the 5-second count against Indiana.
Gary, Bobby Knight knew coming into this ball game that you cannot hold the ball particularly well against North Carolina because they overplay all the passing lanes. And obviously, he got a good test of it right there in the first 40 seconds of this game.
2-0. North Carolina with a 28-2 record. That's the best record in college basketball.
It's Dockich on Jordan. Jordan is going to be very difficult for him to handle quickness-wise.
Good movement of the ball that time, Perkins. And Giommi, the man who's played so well at spurts. He had a 6-game stretch there when he led him in rebounding. Comes up with a rebound there.
Good defense that time on Perkins. He was wide open.
Another turnover against Indiana, and Bobby Knight is not very happy with this beginning.
Well, the key for Indiana is try to get that ball inside to Uwe Blob early.
Smith with Alford picking him up. Into Sam, the 3-time All-American, and rebound by Marty Simmons.
Great block out by Marty Simmons.
Simmons is built like a tight end, and he's going to have to use all that bulk. Indiana has yet to shoot the basketball. Block doesn't get that one up and close. Michael Jordan. Everything seems to be like a highlight film when he plays.
Well, Gary, right there, the fans got an indication of what Kenny Smith means to the team. Even though he doesn't have that left hand at full capacity, he sets up the fast break transition game. And here's the trap by North Carolina.
North Carolina with a 4-0 lead. Lop is fouled by Jordan, who reached in on him.
Michael palmed that ball, shows you what type of hands he has on it.
Jordan committing the foul, sending Lop to the free throw line. They said he was in the act of shooting. Shooting 62%. Now, Blop was only around 21 minutes in that game against Richmond, and that cannot happen tonight if Indiana has any chance to win this game.
I would agree, Gary, but I think it's very smart for Indiana to go inside to Uwe early. Try to put a lot of pressure on North Carolina, dropping back in to help out. Then they can have the perimeter shots available.
In the first game, for those of you who did not see the start of our broadcast, Virginia defeated Syracuse 63-55, and so they will await the winner of this game to see who goes to Seattle in the Final Four. Also, Illinois in the Mid-East defeating Maryland 72-70.
As Uwe, a 61% free throw shooter, but hitting two very well.
Here's the leading assist man, Matt Daugherty, the senior. That time a little bit of difficulty, but saved nicely by Kenny Smith.
Daugherty got away with a walk.
17:43 to go in this first half of play. 4-2 in favor of North Carolina. And inside, a foul away from the ball.
3 seconds.
3 seconds is what they're going to call. And Indiana will have a chance to tie it up.
And North Carolina goes to pick up full court. Daugherty on Simmons. Dockich with Jordan.
Dockich is so good at handling pressure. He sees the entire floor. There's a good example. Alford gets the benefit of the pass.
Anytime North Carolina's going to double up, there are going to be opportunities on the weak side to get off those jump shots, but you got to hit them.
After a shaky start, Indiana now has knotted it out.
Boy, Jordan, now that's his favorite move. He got called for walking, and many times when an official sees him for the first time, they'll call that steps. But if you really watch it closely, it's not. He's just so quick with it.
The turnover gives it back to Indiana.
Here's the double team.
Giommi using poise, but now he has traveled with the ball, and that is the third turnover against the Hoosiers.
Now that's a tough break for Bobby Knight. He'd like to have Mike Giommi down in the baseline to receive the pass, not out front to try to have to make the play, but he can't get there with the pressure defense against him.
Two coaches who stress defense. Bobby Knight, Dean Smith right now making it tough on both ends.
Great job by Dockich that time to stop Jordan from going back door.
Kenny Smith, as you mentioned, Billy, doesn't affect that shooting hand. That left hand heavily wrapped.
But we're looking at two of the best freshman guards to come along in a long time. Kenny Smith going up against Alford.
6-4 North Carolina with 16.5 minutes to go in the first half.
Excellent man-to-man defense at this point by North Carolina. Notice how they extend their defense out so much farther than Indiana.
Marty Simmons, a freshman, gets it to Giommi, and he missed the easy shot, and a foul will go on Uwe Block.
Tough break again for Indiana. They're just a little bit impatient. Maybe a sign of the fact that it's an extremely young team.
Extremely young it is. They have only one senior. They've started as many as 4 freshmen this year. Bobby Knight, possibly a year away from really having a team that figure could win it all.
Well, he's taking a gamble with Mike Giommi instead of Todd Meyer in the game. So far, Giommi's having a rough time. Bobby probably won't stay with him much longer.
Brad Daugherty, Block picks him up.
Daugherty is really open on the inside.
Sam Perkins kicks it out to Kenny Smith. Smith almost had 2 in a row. Giommi there with the defensive board. Alford, a very tough kid mentally. He, as a freshman, has taken over the leadership of this club.
Notice how North Carolina forces people to the baseline when they get it. Very different than most schools.
Jordan almost had the steal. Indiana will reset it at the 15:43 mark. Marty Simmons will inbounds. Simmons started out so quickly for this Indiana club. He had a 30-point game against Wisconsin. Remember the Kentucky game? He was our MVP.
Look, Gary, the last 10 games, he averaged 10 points less per game than he did in his first 10. Now a zone defense by North Carolina.
Giommi, that's his spot. That's where he likes to shoot, but this time not finding the mark.
North Carolina going with their starting lineup for a long time. Normally they start substituting earlier than this.
Perkins double team, kicks it back out. Back it goes to Sam.
There's that half hook. So difficult to defend.
In the estimation of Dean Smith, he's just been fantastic. And now gives them an 8-4 lead. Giommi again. As we said, he likes to shoot from there.
A good move by Indiana, getting him down on the baseline so he doesn't have to make the play.
Michael Jordan with his tongue wagging all the way down the floor. Misses the shot. Here comes Alford. And Alford.
He may have hit that, Gary, but this is a pace that Bobby Knight really doesn't want. You've got to go ahead and force it down a little bit, but you can see the pace getting pretty quick here, and that really would favor North Carolina.
Alford was second in the Big Ten in field goal percentage, shooting around 60% all year, and he leads the nation in free throw percentage. Jordan, and they pick up a foul. Marty Simmons got a piece of it.
That should be a good basket.
They waved it off. The basket will not count. The foul on Simmons, his first.
You notice Jordan was in his motion going up. They grabbed him, and he continued on through for the jumper.
We have a timeout. 14:27 to go in the first half. It's all even at 8. Michael Jordan, college basketball's player of the year. I asked him yesterday if he thought he was playing his best basketball.
I think I am. I think I've improved from the beginning of the year. I felt that I had a little pressure on me at the beginning of the year, but once we got to conference play, I started concentrating on playing for myself and not for the fans. And so far I have been playing well. I've been more consistent defensively, and offensively I think I've been consistent.
Michael Jordan, you'll see him playing for Bobby Knight on his Olympic team. Of course, he played on that Pan Am team that won the gold medal, as did Sam Perkins.
All Pan Am players get an opportunity to go to the trials, and that's part of the reward for having made the Pan Am team.
And they'll have those trials at Indiana University. 8-8 our score. Matt Daugherty trying to get it inside to Perkins.
Indiana really packed back. Everybody inside the foul line defensively.
We have a change. 25, Steve Hale is checked in for Dean Smith.
And Wolf in the ball game also inside for Daugherty.
There's Joe Wolf. Hale very smart.
There are a lot of jump shots from 16, 18 feet available.
Sam Perkins had it partially blocked, and there's Joe Wolf with the rebound. 6'10". Hale from outside. He's the guy that started when Smith was out of the lineup, and we're going to have a reach-over foul on Joe Wolf.
Good blocking out by Indiana. Now, on their man-to-man defense, it's considerably different from North Carolina's in the fact that Indiana packs everything back almost like a zone with a lot of weak side help, whereas North Carolina goes ahead and spreads their defense way out 25 feet from the basket.
Michael Jordan comes back in. That's Kenny Smith that sits down. So we have Hale and Jordan at the guards. And also coming in and playing with a severely damaged ankle is Stu Robinson, number 22 for Indiana.
Foul on Hale. He got away with it.
Flop, too tall. Marty Simmons forcing it a little bit, and that's 4 turnovers. And Bobby Knight is saying just what you said, slow it down.
Yeah, North Carolina's picking up the tempo with their defense right now, Gary. A little quicker than Bobby Knight would like, I'm sure. Even though he's got a tie score at the moment. North Carolina get Robinson down low.
Nice touch pass that time by Jordan, followed by Wolf, doesn't go. And Giommi's there. Now Giommi's doing exactly what Bobby wanted. That's got to get inside and just make your presence felt. Marty Simmons with the open shot. And Indiana has their first lead.
Nice job on the baseline by Simmons. They've got Giommi and Simmons on the baseline, which is very good if they can go ahead and get the ball down that way.
Jordan and Flop got a piece of it. It's off of Uwe, but Uwe going over and helping out Stu Robinson, who had no chance defensively on that play.
A great help, Gary. Excellent job by Uwe, which means that somebody's open. When you slide over to get 2 men on Michael Jordan, that means somebody's open inside, and that would be Sam Perkins.
North Carolina now has missed 6 in a row from the field, and we're going to have a foul, and it's going to go on Jordan. I don't believe it.
Jordan went up for the tap. Uwe Block came over to try to knock it out of the way. The foul's called on Jordan.
I don't think Dean Smith is in agreement with that.
Here's the play. North Carolina runs this off, and the backdoor cut for Jordan. Jordan gets called for the foul. Hard one to understand there.
Jordan committing the foul, and substitution Dave Popson, number 35, a freshman, comes in. Wolf will sit down. So what we have is Daugherty, Hale, Kenny Smith, Popson, and Brad Daugherty in the lineup.
North Carolina bringing in a new squad and dropping way back in a 2-3 zone. Now look for Alford here. He's got some good shooters on the floor.
Indiana's got to be getting some confidence, Billy, playing this well early in the ball game.
North Carolina picking out and trapping out of that zone. There's a walk.
He dragged that foot. That'll be the 5th turnover, and Bobby Knight's going to make a change. Dockich will be coming into the ball game.
Simmons just not protecting the ball, Gary. And again, for Indiana, not only they have to shoot well, but they have to protect that ball very well.
Dockich can do that. He will protect the ball well, and he'll see the floor very well. 10-8, Indiana with the lead. Brad Daugherty and a reach in on Alford. Steve Alford collapsing back, committing a personal foul, his first, 3rd team foul against the Hoosiers.
North Carolina has done so well throughout this year, going over the top of defenses, getting those lob back doors. But Uwe Blop is doing such a good job standing back in the middle that they can't get anything going that way.
Brad Daugherty, who's still only 18 years old, when he came to North Carolina, he was 16 out of Black Mountain, North Carolina, and Dean says he's his most improved player this year.
He's getting better with every game. All he needed was playing time and an opportunity to play against better people.
He can tie it up. Out it comes to Alford. Indiana's doing a better job rebounding-wise than you might anticipate against North Carolina here in the early going.
They block out so well.
Here's Robinson. See that heavily taped left ankle? He's having some problems with it. Dockich.
That's great team passing by Indiana.
5 men now have scored for Indiana and the Hoosiers. A 12-9 lead.
And every time an underdog in NCAA play can stay in a ball game, the pressure really goes on the favorite. You can feel them tense up.
Here is Popson out of Ashley, Pennsylvania.
Now with all these substitutes, Dean Smith really making the defense work.
Flop that time, deflected the ball. 4th turnover against the Tar Heels. Robinson got hurt in that game against Richmond, and they did not know if he'd play at all. He had a cast on that left ankle, and now they got the 5 count on him. Again,
wait a minute.
Defense.
No, I think they're going to call Uwe Blop for pushing off on the inside coming out to the ball. Oh, a cheap foul. Bobby can't believe it. Let's see him on the push-off. He's getting position.
What's out of the ordinary there?
There's the screen right there. He set a moving pick. But the 5-second call, I believe, preceded the foul, Gary. But that's a tough break for Indiana.
That's the 2nd foul on Block. That's thrown away. And that's 5 turnovers. And Dean Smith is not the kind of coach that'll put up with that very long. He does not like the ball to be turned over.
He doesn't. Not much he can do about it. He very seldom substitutes on a mistake, if ever. Remember, they turned the ball over a lot in the first half against Temple also, Gary.
Well, Kenny Smith has had some difficulties with that. He's had 16 turnovers in the last 5 games and not playing all that many minutes.
There's that zone defense by North Carolina matching up out of a 1-3-1.
Alford, they won't give him any shooting room. 10:40 to go, first half, 12-9. Indiana with the lead.
And when North Carolina goes in the zone, Indiana really used their passing game nicely.
Dockich that time had the right idea, but Block couldn't handle the ball.
Tough pass to catch, though, Gary. You're so close to your teammate. To throw the ball down there would be very difficult to handle.
North Carolina is 2nd in the nation in field goal percentage, and they're shooting only 31 in the first almost 10 minutes of this game.
Michael Jordan been out a long time during this period. Popson out now. Perkins back in.
Kenny Smith, down Alford. Alford's gotten 3 or 4 rebounds that have gotten over the big people up front. Indiana's now turned the ball over in their last 3 possessions. Stu Robinson.
You can see Indiana's young players picking up confidence. The longer they can stay in the game, obviously the more confident they're going to become.
And they now lead by 5 as we're inside 10 minutes to go in the first half. At Daugherty from outside. Brad is there, and the sophomore follows.
Nice soft touch.
3 points for Brad.
That Daugherty's shot was not even close, though, to the hoop, Gary.
Stu Robinson with that bad ankle. He wanted to handle the ball and the pressure and did well. Uwe Block.
Nice play.
Pop with 4 points. Wonder why they've kept Jordan out so long, Billy.
Well, sometimes they take him out very early in the ball game. There's a foul on Perkins.
Sam Perkins running through that screen.
Yep.
Now Buzz Peterson's going to check in for North Carolina. Let's go back to the foul.
Going to see Perkins coming across the lane. Step out there by... Is that Alford or Dockage?
Dockage.
Dockage, good step out.
There's timeout. 9:17 to go in this first half. Indiana off very effectively in this game. They have hit 6 in a row to take this 16-11 advantage. You can see how effective they have been in tournament play. They've won 4 national championships, 2 under Bobby Knight and 2 under Branch McCracken. Jordan, by the way, went out at the 12:45 mark, and we have 9:10 left. We'll keep posted on that. Just see how long Dean Smith kicks him out of the ball game.
Well, Gary, it's amazing how Dean Smith plays so many first halves to get to the second half. Good rebound by Block, doesn't quite hang on to it.
Good job by Dougherty going up. Brad Dougherty got a piece of it. End result, the Tar Heels have. Here's Perkins down low, and Dougherty's got a hand on it and batted it away.
Boy, he is playing some game. He's not big on the stats, but he's getting in the right places at the right time. That point I was making about Smith's team, he substitutes so much in the first half. He seems to be very patient with his team, and many times he gets himself in a position where they're behind, and he seems to be very calm about it.
Buzz Peterson, who's been battling back after re-injuring that knee a couple of weeks ago. Sam Perkins, that little jump hook that you were talking about. Perkins with 4.
He's got Uwe Blop right on his back, not fronting him at all. Now, North Carolina look like they want to trap out of their zone. Now they're back to man-to-man.
3-point lead now by Indiana. 8.5 minutes to go in the first half. Giome off to Alford. Dougherty at 6'8", so he's got a lot of height on Alford. Alford's about 6'2", jumping out on him.
Well, it shows you how versatile Matt Dougherty is defensively.
Dockage is kind of like a kamikaze out there at both ends, and Giome hits. After a shaky start, Giome now has settled down.
Well, that's why he was in the ball game. Bobby Knight knew he had to have a good game out of Mike Giome, particularly shooting from that wing.
Out of Newark, Ohio. Giome, a sophomore at 6'8". And Brad Dougherty lost the handle. Wait a minute, they say Indiana touched it last. In the conclusion of tonight's CBS Sports NCAA basketball broadcast, Billy Packer and I will be selecting a Chevrolet Most Valuable Player from each team. And Chevrolet donates a $1,000 scholarship to the General Scholarship Fund of each school.
North Carolina not getting any backdoor opportunities, which is one of their key offensive plays, and the reason for that is Indiana plays such great weak side defense.
Here is Buzz Peterson, an excellent outside shooter, out of Asheville, North Carolina.
Now, Peterson is a guy throughout his career. Never forget the LSU game a few years ago when North Carolina couldn't do anything against LSU up in the Meadowlands. Peterson came in and had the big game.
Last year he had surgery on his knee. He hyperextended that knee again this season, but getting some playing time now. Hale almost had the steal for North Carolina. Steve Hale, whose dad coached at Oral Roberts. Interestingly enough, Alford and Hale both had their fathers coaching.
Well, interesting for Steve, too. His dad tomorrow at Newcastle goes up for the Indiana State High School Championship.
There's Peterson committing the foul, and I am very impressed that Stu Robinson is playing as well as he is with that ankle. Yesterday, he was very gingerly moving around.
Well, he looked good in warm-ups. And Gary, you know that Indiana High School Championship, you got 4 teams left. The winner has to win 2 games in 1 day, so a real bear.
That's Sam Alford, who is Steve's dad, and now Todd Meyer will come in, and Uwe Blop did a very creditable job in this first half. Will sit down with only 2 fouls, which is very important.
And a chance to get a little rest. Now, North Carolina has a lot of size on the boards right now in Indiana, so Meyer's going to have to do the job. Bobby realizing this tough defense, so it's going to require somebody to sit down and rest because you're going to be very tired playing this kind of game.
There's Matt Dougherty with the steal. That's 8 turnovers against Indiana. They're going to have a tough time replacing Matt Dougherty after he graduates this year, and he is fouled as he makes a move. Kenny Smith will come in, and Michael Jordan still out of the ball game. As we said, he went out at the 12:45 mark, and we just have 7 minutes left in this first half.
Well, you mentioned about Dougherty being valuable. He's the only player in ACC history, along with Walter Davis, has had 1,000 points, 400 rebounds, and 400 assists in his career. So you know, quite an all-around talent and a good defensive player.
What impresses you, Billy? He's third all-time in assists and is not a guard. Usually it's a guard that does that. But he is the forward and an excellent one.
The defense for Indiana really well conceived to play a North Carolina team. They're really packing it inside.
Todd Meyer commits the foul on Matt Dougherty, and Matt now's made 2 drives inside and picked up 2 fouls. That's 16 fouls against Indiana.
Dougherty going on the inside, trying to get off that little jump shot, and there really was a lane there.
They say that's a shooting foul.
Well, that's what concerned me when I saw them put up the thing. He threw the ball off to the side and actually passed it.
That's not a shooting foul.
No, it shouldn't have been.
Bobby Knight is up, and he'll plead his cause, of course, to no avail. And Dougherty, a good free throw shooter, shooting 77%, will now try to hit his second.
Yeah. Only Harvard leads North Carolina in free throw shooting as a team for the year. They shot 82%, North Carolina at 77.
Second in both field goal and free throw percentage. 18-16. This could tie it up. Giommi with the rebound. Giommi's still doing a job inside.
Dougherty hadn't been able to hit one.
That's 4 rebounds for Giommi.
It's a tough man-to-man defense. Really extended a long way out.
Dockage, though, has handled it with some savvy. Stu Robinson, who hit one. He's got Brad on him now.
There's been a switch there with a good screening passing game of Indiana. They've got themselves a mismatch. Kenny Smith's on Meyer.
Well, they'll get back now because Perkins batted it out of bounds. Sam Perkins, who can run for a 6'9" man with those long arms. He plays like someone around 7'1", 7'2".
Somebody's wide open. It has to be Robinson.
Good movement. Alford is open.
North Carolina got themselves in a situation where they were double teaming with 2 different sets of fellas and left 2 players from Indiana wide open.
Alford with 6 points. Makes it a 4-point lead for Indiana.
I'm really starting to wonder now about Michael Jordan. He's been out a long, long time, Gary.
I think he's sick. He's up jumping around on the bench like he isn't.
Now, Dean Smith looking at him right now. He's going to hand lead him down to the sideline. 20-18, Indiana by 2. This is the semifinals of the East Regional. Matt Dougherty, and they're going to call him for traveling as he skidded across the floor trying to come up with a loose ball. And Gary, he caught the ball standing and then went down to the floor. You know, if he hadn't tried to advance the ball, he'd been all right. Now Jordan comes in. He left at the 12:45 mark, and at the 5:27 stage of this first half, he comes in. He was out 7 minutes and 18 seconds. Yeah, Dean Smith evidently feels this game is going to be a struggle. He wants a rested ball club, and he doesn't want anybody in foul trouble. Alford, a little bit of difficulty. Dockage to Stu Robinson. Boy, Dockage is really playing a game. Comes out and gets the ball when Alford's in trouble, and hits the open man. There it's deflected. Jordan able to bat it back out to Steve Hale. 4-point lead for Indiana. Smith penetrating, and another foul. Each time they go inside, Billy, Indiana's been committing the fouls. Well, they've been committing the fouls on penetration, which is really not the sign of a Bobby Knight team. Normally, they don't give you the penetration. That's 17 fouls, so they'll be shooting free throws as Buzz Peterson will come back in. He was out briefly. Hale will leave, and they're going to bring Uwe Blop back. And what will be the mark of the second half, Gary? You can be sure that North Carolina will go with their starting lineup and keep them in there. There's been so many different lineups, but that's been the way that they've played throughout this year. And for many years, for that matter. Kenny Smith with a 1-and-1, 81% free throw shooter. Uwe Blop back in the ball game. Had a good rest. The thing that Bobby doesn't want to have happen, though, is he pick up that 3rd foul before halftime. Well, you can be sure North Carolina's going to go inside to Dougherty or Perkins, whoever he's playing. 22-20, Indiana by 2. Here comes the double team traps. Ooh, Robinson almost walked with the ball, and did, I believe. Todd Meyer has it. Indiana shooting 71% from the field. That's broken up by Perkins. Nice job by Todd Meyer. We're going to have a timeout. 4:48 to go in the first half. Indiana, the young team that they are, they have not been in awe of North Carolina by any stretch of the imagination. Indiana's played very well. One of the reasons is number 11, Dan Dockage.
Dockich, statistically, really don't know what he's doing. He's only scored 2 points, but he has kept the team really on track. He's played so well distributing the basketball.
Well, Gary, that's what happens. A lot of people look at a stat sheet and they'll say, gee, the guy only has 2 points. How can you keep talking about him? But he's doing a number of things. He does have 3 assists, and that's important. But the best thing he's doing is coming out and meeting the ball when the guards get in trouble. He's dishing the ball off to the right people and keeping the Indiana offense moving. And on defense, he's in the right place at the right time at all times.
He's making this team go, and Indiana's hit 9 of their last 10 shots, and Alford almost made it 10 of 11. Perkins with the rebound, the all-time leading rebounder in North Carolina.
He turned the ball over because he can't use that left hand properly.
Peterson, yes, who's out of the ball game again? Jordan's out of it.
That's an unusual shot for Peterson to take way down in the deep corner.
Alford with 4 rebounds. Indiana by 2. Good move. Pop challenging him inside, is able to draw the foul. But Jordan's out of there again, Billy, as Steve Hale will come into the action.
Well, as I said, Dean Smith, Gary, looks like he's playing this first half just to get to the second half.
Brad Daugherty committing the personal foul, his first. Indiana, even though they're losing this ball game, have really been their own worst enemy. They've committed 8 turnovers.
Even though they're losing, they're winning.
I said winning.
Oh, winning. Yeah.
Okay. And Uwe Blop has played under control. He has thus far not gotten himself into foul difficulty. He has 6 points.
Good play there by Robinson. Almost created another turnover.
24-20, the Hoosiers. Steve Hale. Rebound Meyer, and he almost lost it.
And North Carolina not getting their offense rolling at all with those kind of shots.
North Carolina was shooting 40% before that last attempt.
Bob wanting the hook. He wanted that hook. He wanted that hook, Gary. He had Perkins on him and took it anyway.
He cranked up from a long ways off to hit that one, and Perkins comes back at the other end.
Well, that's why he's an All-American. Had a man put it in his face and turn right around and did likewise.
Sam averaging 17.5 a game. Robinson continuing to handle the pressure well. Blop almost walked to the ball. Tipped out by Dockich. That was Dockich doing the little things out there.
Again, yeah, crashing the boards. Blop had an easy shot. Perkins has now been switched over to Uwe Blop.
Dockich off to Alford. Todd Meyer.
Looked good.
Did not get the roll. Perkins with the rebound, and Uwe stayed off of him very wisely. You see the time left. 3 minutes now left in this first half.
Uwe's getting a little tired right now, and here's where you pick up a cheap foul.
Perkins with Meyer on his hip, and check that. Dockich will commit the foul.
But again, helping out inside, Gary.
Let's go back to Uwe's roundhouse right. Hook shot that he was able to drop.
Well, Gary, you see Perkins is over on him. Good catch by Blop. See how he watched the ball into his hand, but he wanted the hook right here and took it without taking that extra step. That was well executed.
Change now. Brad Daugherty will check out. Jordan comes in. Jordan not seeing that much playing time. 26-22. Indiana with the lead. 2 shots for Sam Perkins. 14 rebounds against Temple. He broke Billy Cunningham's rebounding record. For many years, Billy C. had the record at North Carolina.
Well, one thing statistically around the NCAA that you'd like to see, and you hate to see the asterisks, but obviously when fellas played in just 3 years in varsity competition, other fellas play 4. It's not really fair to compare them. 2 great players, however.
Dave Hobson will check in. Perkins will sit down as Dean continues to shuttle people back and forth. He did that against Temple, but the reason I thought he did against Temple is Temple is a tired ball club.
Well, Indiana not a tired club, but they're going to be at halftime. Now North Carolina goes to their 1-3-1 zone. They've got Popson running the baseline.
We have been told from the North Carolina bench the reason they have not been playing Jordan Moore is he picked up those 2 fouls, and they just want to protect him for the second half.
Make sure he doesn't get the 3rd one.
He's played only 7 minutes in this half.
I'm surprised then if that's the reason that he's back out there now, because you could pick up the 3rd one just as easily in the last 2 minutes as they could have before this time.
That theory doesn't hold very well, does it? There's Alford again. That's been where he's been hitting.
Defense.
And Dockich will be called for a foul. He goes over the back of Hale.
That was good defense by Michael Jordan coming out. He has tremendous leaping ability. He came out and altered that shot by Alford.
There is Michael Jordan's mother and father. Of course, Michael from the Wilmington, North Carolina area, played at Laney High School.
His mom has never missed a game. Every game he plays, they drive up from Wilmington. That's no easy drive.
Now Jordan goes back out again. Hobson comes out. You're going to have to really keep your eyes on the floor the way they're shuttling people back and forth.
And Gary, I think just what we said is what happened right there with 2 minutes to go. You sure don't want Michael Jordan, who's a very active player, picking up another foul here for Dean Smith.
At halftime, Brent Musburger, New York, will update you on that Illinois win and also the other action that's underway right now in that Mid-East Regional.
Bobby Knight told Steve Alford that he wants either no shot or one shot. Let's see what it's going to be.
26-24.
Semi-delay going right now.
Meyer off to Alford. Steve Hale jumping out. There's the two coaches' sons against each other. Flop again. Oh, is that nice?
I don't. Well, it was one shot then, huh? Good move.
10 points for the 7'2" junior, and Daugherty at the other end. A flop, went up, didn't commit the foul, and intimidated the shot.
He altered the shot nicely.
4-point lead for Indiana. 1:26 left in the first half, and Dakich double dribble or check that Alford double dribble the ball. 9 turnovers.
Again, good pressure defense by North Carolina. Now it's Daugherty sitting down, Wolf sitting down, Perkins in. It's a revolving door.
Like those specialty teams you have in football, everyone's in for a certain play, and that's kind of the way Dean Smith has been orchestrating this first half.
There's a lob, but not as effective as it normally has been, even though Uwe Blop's not in the game right now.
1:09 first half. 4-point lead for Indiana. Kenny Smith, he finds those open spots.
He found the spot, and Daugherty found him. Good job by Daugherty driving across the lane.
Kenny Smith with 6 points.
Not a lot of walkovers in the NCAA tournament, is there?
Nope. This was a game that North Carolina was heavily favored in, and they have trailed almost the entire first half after getting out early to a 4-0 lead.
Down to 39 seconds now, and Indiana looking for one real good shot or no shot at all until the buzzer.
Dakich, beautiful pass, and he's fouled by Kenny Smith, and that is what Dakich does as well as anybody on that Indiana team.
Great job. Pushed it right through the defense. He's doing all the things that Bobby Knight teaches, and that's why he's out there on that court. Here you see him. Gets the pressure, bounce past it right down through. Now, so many teams, when they go against North Carolina's pressure defense, they try to throw it over the top instead of keeping that ball and pushing it down underneath the defense.
Marty Simmons will come in, and Bobby Knight has to be pleased with Dakich, who will sit down alongside him.
Gentlemen, here we go.
Stu Robinson at the line. 79% free throw shooter. He started 15 games. You know, Bobby this year has started 18 different lineups.
Well, when you have a young team, he had a hard time getting consistency, and that's one of the things that he said really hurt him about coaching his team, is that they won certain games that he didn't think they would win and lost some games that he thought they would win. He said that really disturbs him because he's supposed to have and does have a good handle on his ball play.
He's been a little bit peeved, doesn't feel they play as well defensively as he'd like. He doesn't know if they're tough enough. But here tonight, they've been tough. They have a 4-point lead.
Let's see if North Carolina tries to go for one. One in their passing games. Perkins down inside.
He goes up against Courtney Whitty, and Joel Wolf follows.
Wolf having a good game here in the first half.
Wolf at 6'10", they feel he'll be a forward rather than a center.
Oh, he's done it 5 times this year.
That has to give Indiana a real lift. 8 points for Alford. Let's look at it again at the buzzer at the end of this first half.
Gary, at the end of first half, Steve Alford makes a habit of this. That is almost an NBA three-pointer right on the money. Big basket for that young ball club.
A surprising first half. Indiana leads North Carolina 32-28. CBS Sports coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship will continue after this commercial message and a word from your local station. Gary Bender along with Billy Packer and the leading scorers in this first half of play. You see that Blop and Perkins tied for the scoring honors with 10 each. The first half, Steve Alford shooting it very effectively, hitting 4 of 7. Smith was 6. Smith, by the way, Billy, had only 1 turnover in the first half. Despite that heavily taped wrist, he had 6 in the first half against Temple. And Dean Smith, let's see if his strategy pays off, keeping Michael Jordan out of that first half all but 8 minutes. Bobby Knight, he has to be pleased with the start of his young ball club. Stu Robinson will start the second half.
Pulled up a little short and wide open on that shot. And you believe Dean Smith, unless there's foul trouble, is going to stay with his starting lineup for a long time here.
Jordan has it broken up. Alford on the steal, ahead to Robinson.
Nice job by Indiana. North Carolina trying to force the ball inside. It's not there.
Stu Robinson, doubtful that he'd even play or be able to play effectively, has 8 points. 34-28, Indiana. Matt Doherty. Matt didn't hit that shot in the first half. He's come on now to hit this one. The first half, he was 0 for 3.
He looked positive on that shot, though, Gary. Not tightened up at all.
4-point lead for the Hoosiers. Third place finishers in the Big Ten. Illinois for the Big Ten winning tonight. Defeating Maryland in that Mid-East Regional.
Doherty trying to force Dakich to go baseline. Now, 5-second call. You very seldom see a 5-second call down in that part of the court. What Bobby Knight is screaming about right here is nobody came to help Dakich with the ball.
That's the 3rd time that Indiana has had the 5-second call registered against them. That's 10 turnovers for the game.
We're going to see if the fatigue factor is going to come into play. North Carolina substituted so free. There's a foul that time on the inside. Should be
There's going to be offensive interference. Jordan was up above it. He interfered with the ball. The basket by Doherty will not count.
Now, Bobby Knight is absolutely going crazy with Dakich right now. And the reason for it is Dakich's job is to make sure Michael Jordan does not crash the offensive boards. Michael went flying through there, and even though he goaltended, Bobby Knight wants to keep him off the boards.
He hasn't had very much to get upset about Dakich because Dakich played so well in that first half. 4-point lead for the Hoosiers. Uwe Blop looking for 11 and 12, and he is rising to the occasion.
That ball was blocked slightly by Michael Jordan. He still hit it.
The redhead with 12. Going to have the foul against North Carolina. Is it Brad Doherty?
Brad Doherty setting a moving screen. 42.
Doherty with his 2nd personal foul. Dean Smith working the official a little bit. In his 23rd year, he was the Olympic coach in 1976.
Took with him some Bobby Knight players. Buckner and May would have taken Benson also if he hadn't been hurt.
Well, Bobby will be taking a couple of his players, Perkins and Jordan.
Probably.
There's Blop. That was a tough pass. Perkins and Jordan had double-teamed Uwe. Giolmi bats it out of bounds. He's trying to get the call to go the other way.
And North Carolina really trying to force the tempo, and there's a young lady that has a passing interest in this game.
Nancy Knight.
That's right.
Alongside her is Van Arsdale's mother, Hilda Van Arsdale. Remember Dick and Tom, the All-Americans for Indiana.
Dakich playing off Jordan, giving him the jump shot, and Indiana really packing that defense back. Jordan's got the jumper. Not a bad move, though, defensively. You got to give up something against him. Dakich wasn't going to let him go inside.
Michael Jordan now with 6 points. A 4-point lead again for Indiana. Dakich, Blop can't hang on to it. You know, I talked to Bobby about Uwe Blop. You know, we have said how difficult a time he has catching the ball, but he said if everybody had great hands, we'd all be shortstops.
There's the pass into Jordan inside.
And Jordan now sitting down a lot in this first half, making his presence felt in the second half.
That's shades of the Illinois game. And Blop, I believe he lost a little concentration there, Gary, because he could envision having an easy score, just didn't catch the ball.
Dakich at the other end committed the foul, his 3rd.
Dean Smith wanting 2 shots on that play.
He will not get it. There's Jordan, and Dakich has committed his 4th.
Now, Dakich, as I said, is trying to take away something of Jordan. You can't take away his whole game. He's been in excellent position to stop these backdoor cuts. See how he opens up there? He really did a good job. I thought that was a poor call.
Now, will Bobby take him out with 4 fouls? He has not made the move yet.
Now, you see how much that hurts Bobby Knight. he knows Dockich has been the key to his ball game so far.
He's not going to make a change, at least not at this moment.
See if they go inside to Michael Jordan in a post.
Vinny Smith into Perkins, flop up in his face, did a nice job. Brad Daugherty had a battered away, and Giome.
Daugherty hurt his hand, I believe.
Well, these hand problems with that hand, Billy. That's the same hand that he injured. He's got the palm where he's got some tendons. He doesn't tape it, or did not tape it for this game. Lost it again.
Daugherty's got to come out. He hurt the hand. I don't know if Dean Smith sees it yet. Yeah, he's got Wolf coming in.
He had taken the tape off. He played with it last week in Charlotte, and he may have aggravated that injury.
Yep, it's exactly the spot.
It's a tendon actually in the palm of the hand. He had taped his two fingers together to alleviate some of the difficulty, and now, with not having the tape on, he may have re-injured it.
And there's where that depth helps. North Carolina is redshirting Warren Martin, another 7-footer that they had.
Good defense that time by Indiana. Perkins from outside, and that'll be a foul on Jordan, and that's his third. Dockich was the guy that had possession again.
Well, what his job is to keep Michael Jordan off the boards. And he's going to do a good job. Now watch him go for the block out. Not worry about the rebound, just go for the block out. And there's Jordan coming over his back.
Still a 4-point lead for Indiana. Jordan with 3 fouls.
Good step through by Robinson.
Dockich kicked that time by Perkins out of bounds. Indiana's turned the ball over the last 3 times down the floor. They'd like to get a shot off this time.
Now they've got some ice on Daugherty's hand over there, but it doesn't look like they're getting him ready to tape up and go back in.
This North Carolina team was really rolling, and the injuries have started to, again, surface. Stu Robinson committing the foul, and there's the ice you were talking about.
And I think Daugherty realized that injury could keep him out a while, too.
North Carolina, Billy, what'd they do? Win their first 21 games, everything was rolling, and then Smith got hurt. Daugherty's been hurt. It's really set them off stride.
Well, Indiana really taking them to the wire here in this ball game, not giving them any easy baskets.
There's Dockich with 4 fouls, and we're going to have a foul this time on Giome.
Looks like Perkins wants that ball inside. He's been so consistent. Every NCAA game he's played, he's had double figures.
Giome now with 3 personal fouls, sending Perkins to the line. If there's any one thing that Sam's been criticized for is he's so consistent, so quiet, so smooth that you don't recognize what he's doing out there, how effective he is. Number 2 scorer all time, only Phil Ford has scored more. And the all-time leading rebounder.
Now he's played, this is his 15th game in the NCAAs in his career. He's scored in double figures in every one, of course, in double figures in this one already.
You had a quick look at Dockich, who's playing with that 4th foul. Bobby's kept him in there, and he's been just as effective when he had less than 4.
Wide opener, 2 men down the court. Alford doesn't see him yet.
They break the pressure.
Nice job by Robinson. He's got enough quickness to beat that pressure.
Indiana has had 4 straight possessions without taking a shot.
It's an important one, and it's a very young team. They've got to get a good shot selection here.
15:45 left in this game. There's Smith trying to draw the charge on Alford.
Nice job by Alford. He could have taken a bad shot there.
Uwe kicks it back to Stu Robinson, and the Anderson, Indiana sophomore can't hit it. Matt Daugherty to Michael Jordan.
Oh, nice job
follow by
Wolf.
Joe Wolf.
Great
Daugherty comes over there, and they were crashing the boards in.
Crowd really starting to get into the ball game now.
A chance to tie it up is Carolina. Perkins in, Stu Robinson. Nice play by Stu Robinson.
Second breakaway by Robinson in the ball game.
So instead of tying it up, North Carolina trails by 4.
And you notice Dean Smith not going to that bench much in this half. There's Dockich holding down inside.
And he made Jordan change his shot, and here comes Robinson again. Now, remember, Dockich is playing with 4 fouls.
He's doing a great job, though. This Indiana club's really gutty, going up against the nation's #1 team.
Alford with 10 points, and you can see how excited he is. 40-34. Indiana with the lead, and North Carolina ranked #1 in the country, and they may have this one going all the way to the wire. Way shaping up now. Perkins is fouled, and it'll go on Stu Robinson.
Both teams starting to gasp for a little air right now.
That's the second on Stu. Here is Steve Hale, 25, coming in. Matt Daugherty will sit down. Alford, after he hit that last shot, came down and he pumped his fist in the air. He's usually a very unemotional player.
Well, Sam Perkins going that line. He's now the #2 all-time scorer behind Phil Ford at North Carolina. Both of them were 4-year players. .34. 2 shots coming for Sam Perkins. Perkins with 13, and you can see his free throws. He's been dead center. And he led the conference in free throw shooting, the ACC this year, which is kind of incredible for a big man to do.
This is fine, a big shooting man as there is in the country. North Carolina has cut it to 4. 14-14 left in this game. Indiana still with the advantage. Dean Smith's team trailing. They are 28-2, and we don't know that Brad Daugherty will be able to come back into the ball game. They are taping those fingers. That's the exact precautions they had been taking since he hurt the hand the first time. He did not come out with that tape on, re-injured it, and it's going to be very painful. Plus, that's his shooting hand.
And key, I believe, for Indiana is keeping Dockich in the game, Gary. He's got the 4 fouls on. He's been so important in their passing game, hitting the open men and doing a good job on Jordan defensively.
A 4-point lead for the Hoosiers. We're now inside 14 minutes left in this game. The winner to meet Virginia for the East Regional Championship on Saturday.
Well, Bobby Knight knows that he can't put the ball in the deep freeze here, but they're in there a little bit of a passing delay type game.
Here's Giommi, has Joel Wolf on him, and he's going to have to get rid of it. Steal by Hale.
Oh, he kept that alive nicely. Beautiful play.
Steve Hale, his first 2 points. That's the kind of play he's provided. The steal here and there, the basket. His best game was against Arkansas. He had 15 points this year.
And he's fresh, Gary. Now, you've got to say that Dean Smith substituting as a fresh ball club on the court, whereas Indiana kids have to start feeling a little tired.
Dockich again, moving the ball around. Alford against Hale. Hale got a piece of him.
Now, you put a man like this on the foul line, you got real problems. We've got 2 of the best free throw shooters in the country in Perkins and Alford.
Alford leads the nation in free throw percentage, shooting over 90% for the year, as Matt Daugherty will come back in to the Tar Heel lineup.
And he replaces Kenny Smith. So you've got Hale and Jordan in the backcourt now. Daugherty will take up and he'll guard Dockich.
Alford takes little time at that free throw line. It's so interesting to study the good free throw shooters. Some of them will remember Kyle Macy. He goes down to his socks just like Alford does there. But Steve releases the ball quicker.
But it goes in the same.
Sure does.
He is a great free throw shooter.
4-point lead again for Indiana. 13:07 to go, and the North Carolina fans getting a little uneasy. Michael Jordan trying to get Dockich in that 5th foul. Got his hands up on Perkins, but Perkins somehow comes up with the ball.
That was a bad shot by Sam Perkins. Indiana still really hawking him defensively.
There's Michael Jordan up above everybody, but Giommi there with another rebound. He has 7 of them. Alford's going to challenge.
Oh, it's going to go.
Yes, sir, and Hale has committed the foul.
Let's see if they count the basket. You got one official, hasn't signified yet. Nobody has signified. One official wants the basket to count. The fella on the right. This fella on the right wants the basket to count. There's been no signal yet. Let's see this.
Booker Turner's a referee. He's the man in charge in the middle.
The tallest of the 3 was going to signify good basket. Let's see the
That's
call.
Ron Spittler and Mike Tanko along with Booker Turner. They're going to give him the basket.
Yep.
And Dean does not agree.
Big play. Now you can see the trail official was going to call it good basket. No question it should have counted.
Chance for a 3-point play. Alford with 14 of them. Hale committed his second personal foul, and Mr. Automatic at the line again.
Now, Gary, again, we pointed out that the underdog clubs start to play loose as they get ahead. And for the favorite teams, it becomes a time when they start pressuring a little bit on their shooting.
This is the biggest lead of the game for Indiana. At the 12:26 mark, they've assumed this position.
And again, Dockich will not give Jordan that weak side lob.
Matt Dougherty.
Oh, big jumper.
Brad Dougherty's getting ready to come into the ball game. 5 points for Matt Dougherty.
Steve Hale gave the signal he's tired.
And he hasn't been in that long. It shows you how tough it's been chasing this Indiana team defensively. Dockich to Alford again. What a game he's having.
Alford's hitting the shots, but Dockich is delivering the ball perfectly.
17 points for Alford. He's over his seasonal average. He had a 30-point game earlier this year and a 29-pointer.
Everybody looking for a little better shot.
Wolf is fouled. The foul will go on Giommi.
Good passing on the inside by North Carolina.
Now
Indiana.
Giommi has 4 fouls.
Well, what Bobby Knight's looking at right now, Gary, is getting himself down around the 8-minute mark and start trying to use the delay game a little bit.
Todd Meyer is going to come back in. They'll take Giommi out of there. They'll save him. They don't want to have 2 guys with 4 fouls in there. And Todd Meyer checks in for Giommi, and Giommi has done a blue-collar job here tonight.
And you see Dockich bending over, Robinson bending over, trying to gasp for that air. Wolf making the big shots. His brother, of course, a fine player at the University of North Carolina.
By the way, Todd Meyer, who checked in, he and Joe Wolf are the best of friends. They're both from the Wisconsin area. Did not play against each other in high school. One from Oshkosh, the other from Kohler, Wisconsin. 6-point lead for Indiana. 11.5 minutes to go.
Uwe Blab hadn't touched it in a while. Perkins trying to help out. The minute he helps out on somebody, you watch Uwe get an opportunity for an easy shot. Indiana really controlling the ball nicely.
Well, they're in no hurry right now. They've got the 6-point lead as we now approach 11 minutes to go.
North Carolina been to that Final Four innumerable times, but never when they've lost the ACC tournament.
7 times Dean Smith has been there.
Oh, good help by Robinson.
I'm just amazed how well he's playing after looking at that ankle. His left foot, yesterday, he could hardly get his shoe on.
Indiana in their controlled offense right now, and throughout the year in the Big Ten, Indiana's done a great job playing this offense because they got a good free throw shooting team. There's Dockich again.
He got away from Matt Dougherty, missed the shot. Wolf with the rebound.
And he's having a hard time getting over to Jordan. Good pickup by Alford.
Sam Perkins.
Bobby Knight may have to go for a timeout. His club's tired right now.
16 points for Sam Perkins. 47-43 Indiana. Look at the job Alford has done. Jordan, as we said, played only 8 minutes in that first half, so his statistics not that impressive.
Bobby Knight saying that they didn't need that last jump shot. Probably true. There's Alford wide open. Hale gets picked off.
Pushed off on it, got away with it, and he gets a roll.
He did, Gary. He pushed off, and he's getting everything to drop.
14 points for Uwe Blab. The West German native playing as fine a ball as he's played all year. 49-43, the Hoosiers. Now with 9.5 minutes to go. Jordan. Oh, Perkins once, twice. Dockich has got it.
And there's Dockich again, keeping Jordan off the boards. You talk about a gritty performance.
Kenny Smith, Brad Dougherty will come in. Marty Simmons will check in at the first break in the action here.
Dockich been playing all this time with 4 fouls on him.
There's Perkins going for the loose ball. Stu Robinson blocked nicely by Matt Dougherty.
And a shot probably that Indiana really didn't need.
Now with 9 minutes to go in the game.
You really kind of get the feeling that Dockich is controlling the ball game. And he with his offensive, he's passing.
Stu Robinson with a nice fake. He faked Hale up and released the ball, and it's now 51-43. 12 points for Robinson.
North Carolina looks like they're getting a little tired, Gary. They've been chasing so much defensively, they're breathing heavy on offense.
Something to watch. Dean Smith and Bobby Knight matching wits in this game. Indiana not expected to be this tough. Hale from outside.
Nice job by Steve Hale. Perkins surrounded by 3 players.
Indiana continues to shoot well. 62. They had 61 in the first half.
And what they're doing so well now is they're not turning over the ball.
Robinson again. There's Blop. Uwe wants that hook. And he's fouled by Perkins.
Perkins reaching on in. North Carolina coming back with some more subs.
3 of them to be exact. Peterson, Smith, and Brad Daugherty. Steve Hale. Michael Jordan will leave again, as will Sam Perkins. Your 2 All-Americans now sit down with 8 minutes to go in the game.
And then you have to look out there for North Carolina and wonder where are the points going to come from. You've got Peterson that will put up a shot. Kenny Smith that'll penetrate. And other than that, you don't have any big scorers out there. That's short.
Rock might be getting a little bit tired, too.
Well, you couldn't fault anybody for being tired in this game. They've been tenacious defense.
That is the first miss from the line for Indiana. They are 9 of 10.
But they shoot over 71% on the year anyway. That's long. Push off.
Marty Simmons got away with it.
Big play.
Alford wants his shot. He hit it. He's fouled, and that is a big play. Matt Daugherty committing the foul.
Giant play. Dean Smith and Bobby Knight. Look at Bobby sitting over there looking like he's behind. They've coached against each other 3 times. This is the 4th one. Dean Smith won 2 regulation. Bobby Knight won the national championship in Philly. He's got a chance at NCAA play right here. There's Bobby Knight. He liked it. And then he's going to go straight down.
Alford missed a free throw. That's history right there. 53-45. Matt Daugherty playing that heavily taped right hand. Here's Matt. Getting ready to get Jordan and Perkins back in there with 7.5 to go. As Peterson misses, Robinson with a rebound, and Indiana now may just kind of let the air out.
That was a calculated gamble by Dean Smith to take out his 2 All-Americans, but he had nobody on the court there that really is going to put up the good shot.
Marty Simmons, Joe Wolf will have a tough time staying with him.
They're in a delay game now.
He's going to have to get out of there, and he does to Duffy.
Great play by Marty Simmons.
Bobby Knight. This could be some Cinderella story if this young team can hang on. They lead by 10. 7 minutes, 10 seconds to go. This is in the category of a stunner. Over 16,000 watching this game from the Omni, and Indiana leading the top-ranked team, and one of the reasons is Steve Alford, 8 of 12 from the field, 19 points. On the other end of the bench, Dean Smith. Billy, you wonder keeping Michael Jordan out of there in that first half. He played only 8 minutes if he could come back to haunting.
Well, Dean Smith puts a man down when he gets 2 fouls on him. You can see he is very, very concerned at this point in the ball game. Indiana's played a flawless ball game, protecting the ball and getting the ball to the right man at the right time. Alford has been hitting the shots. Dockich has been getting in the ball.
The genius of Bobby Knight. He'll be our U.S. Olympic coach, and we're in good hands with that guy. 55-45, 10-point lead for Indiana. Indiana shooting 67%, Carolina 38. Perkins, and he's fouled. And that will go on Alford.
Yeah, if you're Indiana, you do not want to foul now, even give up the uncontested shot for a couple of reasons. You don't want to stop that clock, and anything that keeps the clock moving is in their favor.
Not only that, they're now shooting free throws. That's the 7th team foul against Indiana. And Perkins, as we said, just an excellent free throw shooter. He has 16 points. Again, kind of a quiet 16.
Gary, with the exception of the very first minute of the game, North Carolina only had 1 chance to tie it, and they weren't able to get it going.
Matt Daugherty will come in for Brad Daugherty.
Obviously going with a smaller team on defense now to do some chasing.
Perkins is perfect from the line, 7 of 7.
And the way Indiana holds the ball, they're going to be able to rest a little bit on offense. All the chasing is going to have to be done by North Carolina.
Here's Robinson. Remember when Dockich picked up that 4th foul, he stayed in the whole game.
Here's a zone press now by North Carolina.
Nicely broken by Stu Robinson.
And then they go back to the man-to-man. And the big weapon now becomes Steve Alford's foul shoot, because he's going to have the ball in his hands a lot.
You see the time left. 6.5. Dockich again, seeing the whole floor.
And he, earlier in the game, might have gone inside the block, but he doesn't have to now, because the object now is just to protect the ball.
Artie Simmons to Alford.
Nice job. Hitting the open man. Don't let a guy come to you until you get double teamed.
We're approaching 6 minutes, as you can see. Robinson gets out of difficulty.
This is a well-drilled team in a delay game. A lot of people say, you know, go to the delay. Well, only go to it if you've got a team that knows how to run it, and Indiana certainly does. Saw them this year go against Iowa at home and go about 10 minutes.
There's going to be a foul on Matt Daugherty. Remember now, Simmons and Alford, both freshmen, playing under these pressure conditions. Of course, I guess now you got a whole year in, you shouldn't be playing like a freshman.
Well, also, with this kind of a lead, you know, sometimes you just start playing so loose. 1-1. Remember Marty Simmons, you talk about a freshman with confidence going in to play against Kentucky and having the ability to just go ahead and have the biggest game so far of the year.
Jordan over there to get some water as Brad Daugherty will come in, and Kenny Smith is going to check out. They want him in here for a rebound possibility on this free throw.
And on the offensive end, Simmons has had bigger games than he had at Kentucky number-wise, but that was as fine a performance as we've seen under the circumstances.
He struggled after that. He's not shooting that well from the free throw line, 67%, but he gets that one. Indiana now as a team is 10 of 14, 10 of 13 from the free throw line. Indiana on that last possession, Billy, killed a minute and 1 second and hit both free throws. That's the way they got to do it.
They're going to use that clock and wait till they get fouled. And again, you go down on this end, and it's Dockich that's really done the job on Michael Jordan. Jordan's got to look to put up some shots.
Last time these two clubs met was for the national championship in '81, and Indiana won that one. Here comes Alford. That is remarkable. Just remarkable.
Over Michael Jordan. This game, I believe, is history, Gary.
Alford with 21 points. Biggest lead of the game for the Hoosiers. Jordan can't get it. Matt Daugherty to follow. He can't get it. And Indiana tries to save it in, but the wrong team has it as far as they're concerned, and that will be off of Indiana.
Gary, tonight, Indiana's their weak side defense. Here we see Alford going down on the break, and he just beats Hale, and he takes it. Michael Jordan comes over, tries to smack it, hits the board, and it does no good. But the key thing that Indiana's done is eliminated the inside game of North Carolina, the backdoor lobs. They've got none.
Sam Perkins and Marty Simmons is going to be called for the foul. Simmons committing his second personal. Well, last year, North Carolina was upset by Georgia in the regional play.
You look up at that clock now, 5 minutes to go, 12 down, and Bobby Knight in his delay game. It'd be a miracle for North Carolina to pull this game out.
The crowd sitting here, Billy, they really are stunned, aren't they? There's no reaction right
now. And
the
first game with Virginia-Syracuse was a mild upset, nothing like this one in proportion, but certainly an upset.
Everybody thought maybe it'd be Virginia and North Carolina, the ACC, playing for this East Regional Championship.
Sam Perkins still hitting the foul shots, but now it's a matter for North Carolina. They've got to get the ball back some defensively. Indiana's been just too good with it.
Perkins 9 of 9 from the line, 19 points.
Short.
Dockich with the rebound. Stu Robinson, there's the steal. Jordan bats it off to Hale, to Kenny Smith, to Jordan. That could start something.
Robinson just went ahead and got himself in a little bit of traffic there. Not what he wanted. Bobby Knight telling him just slow it down.
Buzz Peterson going to come into the ball game.
Dean Smith just trying to have fresh people on the game, on the floor.
Timeout. Less than 5. 4:55 left. 9-point lead by Indiana. 59-50. There's a lot of pressure and a lot of pressure on coaches' wives.
Well, Nancy right now is smiling. She's got to feel awful good about this ball game and the way her team and her husband are handling the game. There's Bobby. He's sweating right through that shirt. I mentioned that Dean Smith is in the Hall of Fame, and Bobby will certainly get there. There are only 3 guys in the history of the game that have won, well, 2 guys that have won the gold, the NCAA championship and the NIT. Pete Newell's one of them. He's here tonight. Bobby has that chance this summer.
Jordan committed the foul on Marty Simmons. And on Michael Jordan, that's his 4th foul.
Simmons going to the line.
Simmons hit 2 of them a moment ago, even though he is not, if you look percentage-wise, one of the guys in Indiana would want to have at the line.
Well, you know, those 2 breakaways, the one by Alford and the one by Robinson, are really going to be the big difference here, because North Carolina, if they foul with this kind of margin, even not making some of the fouls, Indiana's still got a pretty good comfortable margin.
Now that leaves the door open for North Carolina, missing the front end of that 1-1. 9-point difference with 4:45 left. Here's Perkins.
And there's Dockich keeping Jordan off the boards again.
Matt Daugherty, though, gets the roll, and it's now down to 7. 7 points for Matt Daugherty. Alford to Marty Simmons. And Simmons will go to the line again. Steve Hale commits a foul.
Well, that was not a foul intended to stop the clock. And Hale was going for the steal. Thought he had a pretty good double team going down on the other end of the court. Indiana's doing a great job breaking up the double teams.
3 fouls on Steve Hale. Now Simmons missed the front end of one a while ago. He's got another 1-1. And he's missed another one. They can cut it to 5 on this trip down the floor.
Michael Jordan wanting that ball inside.
Jordan is only 4 of 10 from the field, but he gets that one.
He went to the sky. Now Michael Jordan can't afford another foul.
And Simmons will go to the line again, and Smith commits a foul this time. And Marty Simmons, imagine what's going through his mind. He's missed now the front end of 2 1-1s.
Now we're down to 4:14. North Carolina made a pretty good run here, Gary, without using a lot of time off the clock.
Simmons 2 of 4 for the night from the line. He's missed 3.
Bobby's going to have to get him out of there.
That's what he's going to do right now.
The freshman's starting to feel the pressure. Michael Jordan definitely wanting that ball.
Jordan again, the All-American trying to win it, and Dockich is fouled out of the ball game.
That's a tough break right there for Indiana. Michael Jordan really wanting that ball.
Now Bobby's going to have to make 2 changes if he still wants to take Simmons out of there as Dockich fouls out. He has been the glue tonight for this Indiana team.
He's got France. He needs ball handlers, so he's got France to put in the ball game with a little experience. He hadn't been in yet tonight.
Dockich leads with statistics that do not tell you how well they played. He had 4 points, 3 assists, and 3 rebounds.
And that's who Bobby's going to go with, France. He's got to have another ball handler in the game, a guy with some experience.
That's Giomi that will come in. Also, Simmons they take out after missing 3 1-1s, the front end of them. And Chuck Franz, number 23, the only senior on this Indiana team, will come in. And Bobby Knight now is going to call for, what's he going to do? He's just talking to 3 players.
Little huddle.
Little huddle.
I said this game was history a few minutes ago.
He sure did. As you said, often wrong, but never in doubt.
That's for sure.
Jordan is trying by himself to bring North Carolina back. 59-55 the score. And down with it is Alford. 4 minutes to go.
Now, Indiana's not been able to get the ball in Alford's hands. You notice, so they've had other people going on the line.
You don't want to foul Alford. That's the man that they can ill afford to send to the free throw line, shooting 91%. That was deflected. Robinson retrieves it. Franz is fouled by Perkins.
Now, Franz has not been in the ball game until this very moment. Just came in the ball game the last possession.
But he is a good free throw shooter.
He's a good free throw shooter, and he's going to be asked to do an awful lot here.
Shooting 79%. Jam-packed over 16,000 here for the semifinal game in the East Regional. The winners to play Virginia Saturday here on CBS.
Dockich sitting over there on the bench with his head buried in a towel. Doesn't even want to watch.
Indiana's missed 3 straight front ends of a 1-1, and they missed 4 in a row now.
It's amazing. A real fine free throw shooting team can't get one to drop.
You see the time left.
Jordan's got Robinson on him. He can post him up inside.
Steve Hale back to Perkins.
Tough shot. Tough shot.
2-point game.
5 seconds.
They just get it in to Chuck Franz. Alford. And broken up again, but Alford retrieves, and a block and a foul by Steve Hale, and Alford's hurt. He is hurt.
That was some shaky passing by Indiana. Alford's, it's his right hand, too.
That was like a block in football by Hale.
It's his right hand, Gary.
Alford is the man you want to go to the line, but you can see him shaking
I'm
that right
surprised
hand.
Bobby Knight doesn't call him over to ask him how he is to make sure that he's 100%. Alford's a gutty player and will want to go to the line. Jordan almost made the steal. There's the side body block. You can see how he came down in his right hand.
After a 10-point lead, it's now down to 2, and Alford at the free throw line.
Boy, what a comeback this has been for North Carolina. I wrote them off at about the 8-minute mark or 7-minute mark.
But the missing of 4 front ends of a 1-and-1 really gave this North Carolina team a chance. But Alford now has brought that to an abrupt halt.
Mr. Basketball of Indiana.
Back to a 3-point lead and to a 4-point advantage. 3:12 to go.
I look for North Carolina to go inside to Jordan with Robinson on him. Robinson a little bit too small to handle him.
Michael Jordan, oh, he wants to shot. Up to Smith.
Air ball.
And that'll be off of North Carolina.
Yep. Really, North Carolina wasted a possession, in my opinion, there, Gary. They should have gone inside to Michael Jordan.
Giommi set it up. Hale comes back in for North Carolina, playing with 4 personal fouls. Both he and Jordan have 4.
Oh, Giommi almost gave it back to Alford.
Nice job off to Franz, and he'll come back out with it. You see 2:48 left in this game.
And Jordan's got 4 fouls on him. He gets the jump ball. It's North Carolina.
It goes to North Carolina on the alternating held ball.
Gary, this possession to me is critical for North Carolina in the fact that they've got to get the ball down low to Michael Jordan.
That's 17 turnovers against Indiana.
There he is. He's down low with Robinson. Franz coming over to help out.
Sam Perkins to Smith. Jordan will try to cut it to 2. Just won't go. Perkins is there. He's fouled by Block. Uwe Block commits his 3rd, only the first foul of the second half.
Well, he hasn't done much the second half offensively because Indiana's been primarily playing their passing game out away from the ball.
He had to stay around, and he's done that. Bobby Knight talking to Alford. Can you imagine 3 more years those two will be hooking up in Indiana?
We've got a fellow named Delray Brooks coming in to be in that backcourt. That'll be something to see.
Perkins has missed only 1 free throw in 10 attempts. That's 2 free throws they missed. Jordan missed 1, and Perkins has missed 1.
Right off the front of the rim.
Come on!
Indiana by 4. 2:23 to go.
Now, Alford, they're trying to make sure Alford doesn't get the ball.
Giommi is fouled by Matt Doherty. Now, Giommi statistically for the year shooting 71%.
Good free throw shooter, has a good touch, Gary. He hadn't had to go to the line, but if you're North Carolina, you got to keep the ball out of Steve Alford's hands, because when he goes that line, it's automatic. You know who's rooting real hard for Giommi right now? Marty Simmons.
Giommi with 4 points. That move of bringing Giommi in has paid off. You got to feel sorry for Marty Simmons, but that can happen to you.
Oh, yeah.
It starts to snowball on you. You miss that first 1-and-1, and all of a sudden.
Long.
And it's out of play, but it's back now to a 4-point lead for Indiana.
One thing Indiana has not been able to do in this sequence is run any time off the clock. Basically, they've had, 15 seconds of possession.
Rob yelling at Perkins as he had the ball. Jordan trying to rub Robinson off. Look at his quickness. He wants it, doesn't he?
Oh, what a play. Now you wonder where he was in the first half. And here he goes. Michael Jordan, remember, has 4 fouls.
He has 13 points and a foul on Hale, and Hale is fouled out. Either one of them would have fouled out. They're playing with 4.
They were better off making Alford passed the ball, Gary, then fouled him. You don't want to put him on the line. They had him in a double team. He had lost his dribble.
Watch this individual effort by Jordan.
Carries the ball around, slips down, keeps it alive, does a crossover between the legs, comes back inside, hangs, and puts it off the glass. Some move.
Alford goes to the free throw line. Hale is fouled out. Joe Wolf will be coming in for North Carolina.
Now, North Carolina has got Kenny Smith in the ball game. They've got Jordan in the ball game for quickness defensively. But in losing Steve Hale, they lose their other guard that can go out and pressure.
Indiana led 59-47 with 5.5 minutes to go in this game. Since that time, North Carolina has outscored them 13-3, and it all began with the missed free throws.
That's right. Is he automatic or is he automatic?
24 points. He can put them back on top by 4 with 1:59 to go.
And when you start talking about candidates for the Olympic team that weren't on the Pan Am team, how about Steve Alford?
Matt Dougherty, Franz. Perkins looks like he's going to release it. Michael Jordan again.
He altered that shot. Not a good shot.
Flop screened him out, and Alford came out with the ball.
Alford's trying to get the foul. He does it. What a great play by Steve Alford. He had Wolf behind him, realized he was running, and he stopped and let Wolf go over his back. Smart play.
I think what's remarkable about that, Billy, is he wants the pressure. He wants those free throws.
You'll see right here, Lob keeps it alive. Alford reaches in, gets the ball, comes out. Now right here, he realizes where Wolf is. Now watch him get underneath. Fine play. Smart.
But I think, again, you know, he's just drawing all the pressure on himself, and he wants it right now. He's 7 of 8 from the line.
Look at that follow through. North Carolina trying to get Michael Jordan trying to get too much individual effort with the dribble, and therefore he's getting double teamed. I'm surprised he doesn't post up down low.
27 points for Alford. 9 of 10 from the line. 6-point lead a minute 42.
Wolf almost threw it away.
At Dougherty.
Not close.
Perkins with a rebound. Sam doesn't want his career to end here, and he follows. And timeout is called by North Carolina. They will have 1 timeout left. 1. Indiana has all 3 of theirs.
Excellent timeout there, Gary, because now every second is very crucial. If you're North Carolina, what you've got to do is double team Alford so he does not get the inbounds pass, try to keep the ball out of his hands, make somebody else go to the foul line.
Well, Dean Smith has been at the helm of this North Carolina team for 23 years. And Billy, he's right now pouring all that knowledge, all that experience, all that energy into somehow to pull out this game.
Well, he has had such an incredible career. You know, you start listing his accomplishments, and it almost, you know, you read them in the press guide, and you don't want to start talking about them because you can't ever end. There's so many outstanding things he's done. He set the all-time record now with 25-game win seasons, beating out John Wooden. 20-game seasons. He's, 18 straight years. It's just phenomenal what he's done, but he's got his hands full right now.
You said something about Dean Smith I thought was very interesting today. We were coming over here. He said he never misses a thing. Every little detail, everything involving his team, from brochures to what hotel they stay in to what basket they shoot at. But right now, he has a minute and a half, a minute 31 to be exact, to catch up. They're down by 4.
They give you an example. In 18 years, he's been in the last 18 years, he's been in the final 16 10 times. Won the national championship, of course, once. 10 straight years in the NCAA. 14 of the last 18 years he's been in the NCAA. 18 straight years in postseason.
The guy at the other end's not bad either. Bobby Knight, the pressure. Alford dribbles
beats the double team.
He wants him to foul him.
Yep, he sure does. Beats the double team.
Simmons. Simmons is in. That's interesting, isn't it? That they bring Simmons in as poorly as he's been shooting free throws.
There's Alford really understanding how to beat that double team. Down to a minute 16.
66-62, and Martin is fouled out of the ball game.
That's 5. Now, not only is he fouled out from the defensive standpoint, and North Carolina does not have his weapon down on the other end.
So Jordan and Hale have fouled out in the last 30 seconds. Jordan leaves the ball game with 13 points, and
that first half, though, Gary, only played 8 minutes.
That's what I'm saying. Is still wonder about that strategy. Indiana's last 7 points have come from the free throw line. And here comes Stu Robinson again.
And he's been wisely staying off that foul line during this delay here. He's stepping back at the top of the key. You don't want to go down on that foul line and get yourself all cramped up.
He's 2 of 2 tonight from the line with 12 points.
Now Robinson wisely going to move up to that line. Robinson from Madison Heights High School with Duncan and Morgan.
All those outstanding players that have come out of there.
Ray Tolbert, Bobby Wilkerson.
Had a player on Illinois State this year.
That's right, Duncan. Short. Big tap.
Joe Wolf has to save it.
But now where do you go? Good. That's a good pressure by Indiana back there to use up some of the clock. We're down under a minute now.
A minute exactly.
And where does the shot come from?
Kenny Smith, he's going to try it. Doesn't get the roll. Blocked there with a big rebound. And Indiana now in great position as Matt Dougherty commits a foul with 44 seconds. That's 4 on Dougherty. And the Indiana bench now is sensing the kill.
Well, at 6 minutes, I said it was over. And North Carolina made a good run on them.
You got a little nervous there at the last.
But, well, they just didn't have enough. The way it looks right now, down to 44 seconds, stranger things have happened.
There's Darryl Thomas, a freshman who started several games, hasn't played, and Michael Jordan, a player of the year, and how disappointed he must be.
And you know what'd be interesting going through his head right now is, does he stay another year in college? I'm sure that he anticipated he wanted to get back to the Final Four.
Robinson has hit 2 of his last 4 from the lines. Kenny Smith.
And another timeout by North Carolina.
That's their last. They have no timeouts left. 37 seconds left in the game. Indiana by 4 over the top-ranked team in the country. Championship basketball from the Omnis. 16,723 are here as Sam Perkins is right now 37 seconds away from having his career ended here at North Carolina. He and Matt Dougherty would like to somehow pull this game out. Perkins with 24 points, and they've got to foul Indiana almost instantly.
They really do. They've got to foul Gary, and they've got to make sure they don't foul Steve Alford. They've seen enough of him on the line.
Alford will inbounds the ball. He's got Robinson.
Cecil Exum on him, and he commits the foul.
And that's who committed the foul. Exum is one of the 3 seniors.
And you see Bobby Knight using Uwe Blob to go down on the defensive end of the court, but not on offense. And you know, when you look at Robinson, Gary, compared to what he was in practice with that very severely sprained ankle, it's amazing he's out here playing, and doesn't he look like he had a problem?
They had a cast on the ankle. They removed it so he could play tonight, but you're right. It did not look like he'd be a factor at all in this game.
And in the Richmond game, when he sprained it, stepping over, I believe it was Mike Giommi, you'd have thought he'd been out for a week or so.
It's his left ankle. He has 14 points, 4 of 6 from the line.
Short.
North Carolina still has a shot at it. They're down by 4 with 30 seconds. Kenny Smith. Perkins with 30-second effort.
No timeouts left.
2-point game. Giommi wisely got it to Chuck
They've got to foul France, and he doesn't want to be fouled.
And committing the foul is Matt Dougherty.
Now, what we have over here, an official. Now, let's see if any time goes on the clock. The official, the trailing official, called the foul over here on Wolf, a 2-shot foul with Uwe Blob going to the line. Now, that foul was committed before the foul on the sidelines against France. I'm surprised Dean Smith is not going asking for some time on the clock. He probably wouldn't get it.
But he'd rather have Blob probably at the free throw line than France. He has, as you said, a 2-shot foul. Wolf committing the intentional foul.
Uwe Blob's hit all the big ones tonight. And the key thing there is it puts it on the 3-point mark. And even if he misses this, North Carolina needs 2 more possessions.
North Carolina get to overtime. They've got a lot of their people already out of this game, fouled out.
He hits the pair.
Back to a 4-point lead. Indiana asks for a timeout. They have 2 remaining. Well, they had it to 2 and having Indiana inbounds the ball, but Giomi made a very wise pass to Chuck France.
Hey, Gary, we talked at the top of the show. Both of these coaches believe the key is to have your team play to the top of their potential. And if you're Indiana, you surely have to believe that that took place tonight.
That's what Bobby said. He says, we really don't prepare so much for what the other team does, but we do want to play up to our potential. They've done that at some. Indiana, really, Billy, a team that down the stretch was really having some difficult times. They got beat by Illinois soundly. Remember Champaign, they did finish off the year with a win over Ohio State. They didn't play all that effectively against Richmond. They got off to a good start and then had to struggle a little bit.
Well, to be quite honest with you, I'm really surprised that they could hold in a ball game with North Carolina. And I believe that the first half, they gained an awful lot of confidence with North Carolina. And not to take anything away from Dean Smith, because that's the way he always plays. He substitutes frequently. He plays that first half to get to the second half. But tonight, with Michael Jordan sitting out that long and not being effective in the first half, it gave Indiana an awful lot of confidence.
The top of this broadcast, we said Indiana might be a year away.
From what?
I'm wondering now. Bobby Knight would be the first to tell you he cannot wait for next year with Delray Brooks coming in, as you mentioned, losing only one player off this club, that being Chuck France.
Now, what Bobby Knight does not want here, he does not want a foul committed by one of his players. They'll force North Carolina to bring that ball up and give up the layup. But they're not going to go ahead and commit a three-point opportunity.
Indiana's last 11 points have come from the free throw line. They lead by 4.
See North Carolina trying to use the whole court. Very dangerous play. Peterson taking it in. Short.
It's over Giomi. There's Joe Wolf with the follow. Again, it's a 2-point game.
And here's Giomi's wide open. Dougherty's got to catch him. He does. Two shots.
That was a very wise foul.
2 shots. Still 5 seconds on the clock. All Giomi has to do here is to make one free throw, Gary.
That is 2 times on inbound situation. They've gotten the ball to the midcourt, and I guess now, Billy, as we assess what is happening here with 5 seconds left, this is an upset of major proportion.
Well, if Giomi were to make one foul, Indiana could afford to let North Carolina go down the length of the court, score. North Carolina does not have any more timeouts. You have 5 seconds within to get the time to get the ball inbounds, and therefore the game would be over. So the key is here. Can Giomi make one free throw?
There is Matt Dougherty, and look at the emotion.
Well, he has tears in his eyes.
Could be his last game for North Carolina.
Well, you know, only one team doesn't end up with tears in their eyes in this tournament.
He's been in the Final Four twice. Well, let's just watch this one. That's it.
Ball game.
Now, Alford wants another timeout. I think Bobby Knight wants to be sure they know what the situation is.
Let North Carolina do whatever they want because they can get 5 seconds to take the ball out of bounds.
The Hoosiers, they've upset this North Carolina team. Well, the state of Indiana must be on its ear right now. The Big Red.
How about Steve Alford's dad watching this game and then having to take his team tomorrow to go ahead and play for the state high school championship?
Bobby Knight, I like this timeout. He just wanted to be absolutely sure they had every contingency covered, that they wouldn't make those fouls that you're talking about, give them a 3-point play.
This was quite a win for this man who's had so many of them. Pan Am gold medal, 2 national champions, the NIT, won the Commissioner's Conference.
You wonder where he would put this win in all of those. He's got to.
Now, there's one win, though, that he really wants badly. He wants that gold in L.A. But he takes them one at a time like all great coaches.
There's Bill Guthridge along with
I don't know what he's doing on the floor. He better get off the floor.
Sam Perkins, likewise, could be his
now, the best thing to do, Giomi missed the shot. Don't worry about it. Just get it off the board somewhere.
He hit it, though, a 4-point lead. Intercepted by Stu Robinson, and Indiana has won it. dressing room.
First time I noticed, Gary, the Omni court is red and white. I guess they felt right at home because that was quite a performance by a gritty bunch of freshmen.
They won it at the free throw line. Their final 13 points came from the free throw line. Here's a replay, a tape, and the anguish of Dean Smith.
He thought, and many people did likewise, that this might have been his greatest ball club, but they will not get a chance to go to the Final Four.
So Indiana will meet Virginia Saturday for the Eastern Regional Championship and the right to go to Seattle in the Final Four.
Let's think of that matchup. Two teams that were not expected to get here, but two teams that have been big names in college basketball over the last few years. Here, everybody said Virginia was a shoe-in with Ralph Sampson, and they didn't ever get that perfect ring. In Indiana, everybody's saying this is the year they're going to have to sit back and relax and wait until next year. They're just too young to go, and two Cinderellas have a chance to move on to Seattle.
Alford in this game had 27 points, 19 of them in the second half. Matt Doherty showing you the losing side.
It's tough. He's had quite a career. But it's all over right there for Matt and the rest of the seniors for North Carolina, including Sam Perkins and Cecil Exum.
So the final score here from the Omni in Atlanta in the semifinal. Indiana defeating North Carolina 72-68, and Indiana moves in against Virginia, the winner to go to the Final Four.